Hey everybody, I want to welcome you back to the second installment of the winter garden tour, so I hope you enjoy. This is a newer plant that I just started working with last year. This is green needlegrass. This one I'm really excited about because it's extremely fine textured, and it's just so beautiful whenever you can see it growing. The problem with grasses is they just don't translate into photographs and videos very well. You kind of have to see them in person to appreciate them. They're so dynamic with the textures and the way they move and the colors. It's just not easy to capture that on film. So here we have some little bitty columbines poking through the snow. Columbine is another biennial plant. These are these are rosettes from last year that will hopefully bloom for me this year. I do have some heuchera cultivars, which is coral bells. Here's some spiderwort. I think this is Ohio spiderwort. Spiderwort is a classic. It's pretty commonly found in gardens these days. And spiderwort and penstemon is one of my favorite combinations in the world. It looks fantastic. And so we have some penstemon right next to it. Once these mature, that should look really, really nice. So here's some penstemon that I staked last year. It looks really nice in contrast with grasses. Here's some green needlegrass that I planted next to it. That'll give it some textural contrast once the grass grows up and gets big enough. This is black-eyed Susan and this guy right here. And so this plant, being an annual, is great to fill in bare spots, and it likes to reseed itself. So once you put it in the garden, you'll probably always have it somewhere. Here's some anise hyssop, which, true to its name, smells like anise. This plant is really, really nice. Very long bloom time. So blooms almost all season long. Starts in the summer and just keeps going. It was blooming into November last year. We had pretty mild weather, and it was just kind of incredible that it just kept going. Here we've got some wild rye. We've got a little bit more wild rye over here. Some more penstemon down there. Over here in this bed, I've got a couple of gooseberry bushes. You can see the thorns on these guys. This is our permaculture bed, and we've also got some currants here, and there's another one over there by that stack of bricks. So these bricks, I'm dividing this bed up so that we're making some pathways so that the strawberries are easier to harvest. Here are our strawberries. These guys are so tough, so hardy, stay green basically the entire winter, and produce tons and tons of fruits. These are ever-bearing or day neutral. And then here we have a little Saskatoon serviceberry. You can see the brightly colored new growth from last year. This tree has taken kind of a long time to get to full size, so give it another season or two, but if it doesn't start putting out some better growth, I might have to call it quits on that one and try again. Up here by the house, I've got a couple of switchgrass. On either side of the house, there's a switchgrass. This is the cultivar Heavy Metal. And here is some dwarf goat's beard. It's a little hybrid, garden hybrid, that it's really nice. kind of brings the voluptuousness of goat's beard into a smaller, more garden-friendly size. So standard size goat's beard can get quite large, like 6 feet tall. And over here we've got a non-native. This is autumn glory fern or something along those lines. I'll look it up. And then over here you can see this one's a little larger and easier to see. Prairie drop seed, and I've got a few more clumps of that over here that were just planted last year, so very young. As you can see, while some of the other grasses are greening up, prairie drop seed is not, because prairie drop seed is a warm season grass, whereas some of these sedges, like James sedges here, and I can't remember what this one is, which is a bummer because it's really pretty. But some of these other grasses and sedges are cool season, so they're already starting to color up, whereas the prairie drop seed, we are not going to see that one for a while yet. And then of course we have some hostas, because what Midwestern shade garden is complete without hostas anymore. So the guy right here is I think it's a sky blue aster. I put some smooth blue and some sky blue. Oh no, this is aromatic aster, that's what it was. This one's really nice. Stays pretty short, more of a mounding habit than some of the other asters, which can get pretty like gangly. And then here we have some beds where we have more strawberries, some herbs. As you can see, our sage here is just a trooper. Look at that. Still so green. It's crazy. And then we've got some, this is actually marshmallow, which is fun. Member of the hibiscus family. I love all things hibiscus and mallow. One of my favorite varieties of plants. So can't leave the front yard without talking about the pathways, which are, I'm seeing a log out of place, but these pathways are eco grass. And eco grass is awesome because you barely have to mow it. Actually, we don't mow ours at all, because I don't mind if it gets a little bit long, and in the shade here it doesn't really get much taller than this. So eco grass is super awesome. Highly recommend it. It gets kind of this, here's a good spot to show you. It gets kind of this flopped over look, and as you can see, this is a longer patch. So if you don't want it to get quite so hairy, you can mow it. But I kind of like the way it looks when it lays over like that. And it also helps suppress weeds. This is pretty shade tolerant. It can handle light to moderate foot traffic. It will disappear if you have too heavy foot traffic, but it's a great grass. It's a great product. There are lots of other plants in this garden that I'm not going to talk about today because they are just so asleep at this point that they're non-existent. Alright, so thanks for joining me on this little front yard garden tour. At some point I'll show you the backyard, but it's pretty under construction and it's winter, so there's not quite so much to see back there right now. Yeah, so I will look forward to seeing you all in the next video. Thanks. Bye.